Hi everybody, K-Man Pete here again. Today I want to talk to you about another one of my cars that I have in my collection, and we're going to start off this conversation with a little bit about Lee Iacocca's aim for Chrysler in the early 1980s. Now I think everybody's aware that Chrysler was having a few financial difficulties back in the 80s and they needed a solution. They needed a good solution. So Iacocca came up with the idea that they'd produce a line of cars that were very easy to work on, all having four-cylinder engines and all having interchangeable parts for the most part. So a lot of people are already familiar with the Plymouth Reliant and the Dodge Aries, but there was the bigger lineup from Chrysler in the form of the LeBaron. Now the Chrysler LeBarons did come on the market for a little more money, but by and large they sold almost as well as the other K cars. So thinking about what a LeBaron entailed, we have to think about the whole 10 years that they were around. They started in 1982 and they went as long as 1988. However, in 1986, the LeBaron series got a facelift, if you will. Rounded edges around the front, a little slimmer lines, things like that. A little more appealing to look at, if you ask me. So, from 86 to 88, the sedans and the wagons were available. The convertibles and the coupes, however, were only available in 86. So today I think what we'll have a look at is a genuine article, a 1987 Chrysler LeBaron Town & Country wagon. So here's what a LeBaron Town & Country wagon would look like in 1987. Production numbers were around 14,500 for the time that they were available from 86 through 88, looking this way. So there weren't that many on the market. And I have to say that as time has gone by, and I've looked on the internet, I haven't seen any other LeBaron wagon fully loaded that's still nearly all original. And that's not easy to say. A lot of folks try and maintain older cars that were produced in the thousands and were readily available. Well, these aren't so readily available anymore. If you go to the junkyards, a lot of them aren't even in there anymore. So this is what an 87 Town & Country looked like, sporting, of course, the Pentastar prism on the front as the emblem, as all the LeBaron series did, the waterfall grille, if you will. Nice looking automobile, in my opinion, well maintained. This actually has 90% original paint. All the siding, for the most part, is original, save one spot that we'll look at. And the engine itself is also about 90% original. Now, something that a lot of people didn't know about the LeBaron was that you could get them turbocharged, which this one is, as you can tell by the emblem on the side. Now, a lot of people might say, well, yeah, in 86, a turbocharged K car of anything, or in the LeBaron series, should have a set of vents on the hoods. That's true, but after 1986, Chrysler had received so many complaints about water dripping in from rainfall onto the top of the engine that they discontinued the vents altogether. So in 87 and 88 you won't see the vents. Also, a feature that's very good in this car is the leather seats. I'm going to open the door and we can have a look at the original leather seats as they were in 1987. Also, you'll notice that this car is fully loaded, save the power antenna. So that means that it's got power windows, power driver's seat, power locks, air conditioning, digital dash, tilt steering, cruise control, 6-speaker cassette radio with equalizer, you name it, it had it. The nice thing about this car too is that it had a load leveling suspension in the back, which currently isn't functioning, but that's okay. I'll probably get that fixed at some time in the not too distant future. Let's get a quick look at the back seats as well, get an appreciation for what that leather looked like. Like I said, 100%. It does have a few cracks here and there, but nothing torn and nothing split. You can't say that for everything. So as we go around, you'll see that on the back quarter panel, there is one spot that had a little bit of damage. You'll notice the color isn't quite the same. That I plan to have redone at some point. A lot of people have told me if I didn't point that out, they wouldn't have noticed the difference. But apart from that, it's pretty much 90% original paint and 90% original siding. You can't say that for a lot of cars that are 14 years old. So having a look at the back, let me just open up the back for a second. Another feature that the Town & Country wagons had that the Aries and the Reliant didn't was the tonneau cover that you could use to cover the storage area in the back. So that's kind of handy. Times when you don't want the sun to beat on any of your luggage, or if you don't want spectators seeing what you have in the back, you can cover it up. Good feature. So that's a look at the back. Obviously there's been things that I've fixed up over the years. I put a new suspension on, new brakes, things like that had to be done. But for the most part, I've left it the way it was on purpose. The passenger side is arguably the best one on this car to show, because everything's original for the most part. Turbo emblem's even a little nicer than the one on the left-hand side. But this is arguably the most expensive K car that money could buy. Now there were the convertible LeBarons as well, but they didn't sell as much as the Wagons did. And of course the Wagons had more sheet metal with the roof rack and the self-leveling suspension in the back. So there were quite a few options that this car had that you couldn't get on anything else. So I think what I'll do now, I'll go around the other side. We're going to pop the hood and have a look at the engine compartment. Now looking at what the car had as far as a plant goes, this is a 2.2 liter Turbo 1, as Chrysler called it. Basically the 2.2 liter head was just about the same as you would find on any other 2.2 liter. The turbochargers were all provided by Garrett, and they were basically set up to produce up to 7.5 pounds of boost. They probably could put out a little more than that, but you'd be in risk of blowing your head gasket, of course. Now this particular engine has had the head gasket replaced, and obviously the spark plug wires are not original either. But what I did do is I left the flywheel on the air conditioning compressor and the coil just the way they were. A lot of people said I should have repainted those. I like to leave them the way they are so that you can see what is and what isn't. The rad's even original in this car, incidentally. That was never changed either. So overall, the car is becoming quite a collector's piece. What I can tell you about this car, whom I named Woody, incidentally, Woody has had a lot of success as far as car shows go. I entered him in a car show in late 1987, and he won a People's Choice Award. Later on, I entered him in another car show. Just this spring, we were involved in the Radical Speed Sport East car show, 2010 that is, in Moncton, New Brunswick, and Woody came away with best in class. So I'm very impressed with how he's shown so far, and I'm also impressed with the fact that a lot of folks are attracted to him. I figured that maybe a lot of people wouldn't be interested in these cars right away, but as it stands, I guess they're coming to their time when a lot of people are starting to appreciate them again. Not just me. So again, I just wanted to give you a genuine impression of what a Town & Country wagon looked like and what it had for options. Like I said, I think it's safe to say that there's few and far between of these types of vehicles left anywhere around. But if you ever find one, let me know. For now, this is K-Man Pete. Thanks for watching. Watch for more videos to come. I'll see you on the road.